This video is going to be titled 3 a.m. and Lonely. And the reason for that is because of, well, some curious things I noticed when it comes to what people refer to as the 3 a.m. portion of YouTube. Now, of course, a lot of people may think of, well, those parody videos where someone does something stupid and then suddenly someone like Shrek or Thanos shows up and beats up or whatever to the other person. It always varies. But that is a parody of something that would happen where if you were on YouTube long enough, and for a lot of people, this would usually happen around 3 a.m. coincidentally enough, which is that YouTube would start recommending weird stuff. Sometimes it got a bit creepy, such as the infamous Sad Satan videos, but other times it also included other such things, such as, we obviously know the whole Elsa and Spider-Man videos. If you haven't seen those, count yourself lucky. To give yourself an idea as to why they are bad, there's one video where someone is dressed up like Elsa from Frozen and eats chocolate pudding off of a toilet seat. And it's obvious what that's supposed to simulate. And so I say that is the most tame thing that the Spider-Man and Elsa videos have done. So yeah, the 3 a.m. slot ended up switching from the weird and sometimes creepy to disgusting and perverted. Now, of course, though, we a lot of times call it the 3 a.m. spot because 3 a.m. is considered the witch's hour, in which case all sorts of supernatural stuff happens. Of course, nothing ever really happens at 3 a.m., being a night owl and all. I could tell you that from a personal experience. But the thing that is annoying is how much this section of YouTube got hijacked. And while there is definitely strives against the whole thing of like the disgusting and the perverted, it had shifted to propaganda and stuff like that. A lot of stuff that's that can easily be used to manipulate those who are basically feeling lonely and depressed. Sometimes one of them, sometimes both. And so you got a lot of people trying to be manipulative, have their propaganda out there and stuff like that. And this has given rise to a bit of cynicism. And it's funny that, like, a lot of people are like, oh, women are bad. And the other people are like, oh, men are bad. And a lot of times it's just sexist rhetoric and other such nonsense. But I do notice that there is this tendency towards cynicism. And while I should say that just stays at the 3 a.m., unfortunately it does affect a lot of other people. And if not directly from people watching it and eventually becoming, in a sense, brainwashed by it, you also have those who are indirectly affected simply because because people do unfortunately have situations where they interact with those who are affected by the propaganda. And because of this, you end up having things spread out, either even the people becoming really depressed as a result of interacting with those who are manipulated, or they end up becoming another manipulated person with some sort of sexist rhetoric. And it isn't just a sexism. I've seen the same thing happen when it comes to racism as well, and other forms of prejudice, where prejudice is being promoted. And I don't blame the platforms or anything like that, because the sad thing is that this was a thing on television as well. There were the public access channels, in which case someone actually bought TV time, or however public access works, and used that to promote their propaganda and whatever prejudice may be carried, including stuff that people for some reason don't think is prejudice, such as chauvinism. But I digress. No, that's not. I shouldn't digress there. No, because chauvinism is like one of many things that happen where people believe whatever group that they are in is superior in some form or another, and that's what chauvinism is. You got your ethnic chauvinists, your gender chauvinists, and of course the initial definition, the initial meaning, which is for national chauvinism. And so a lot of this chauvinism, this whole thing of supremacy of a group, does play into a prejudice and ultimately a cynicism that's been growing. And while we could look at prejudice as a problem, I think the biggest problem is cynicism. Surprisingly enough, I've done 3 other videos, and well, this is definitely a remake of one of them. The other 2, I think I probably will end up uploading. And the reason I don't blame social media is not just the whole thing with TV spots, but also the fact that there were also instances where even the 3M element of TV was got the same problem, where initially they would just air B horror movies and stuff like that. Now there's a few people who've done video reviews on that movie, so go look those up if you want a better synopsis of it. But yeah, movies like Frogs would air on TV from 2 a.m. till 4 a.m. And I would know because like I have sleep problems, so there were times where I was up late at night, couldn't sleep, or I would wake up in the middle of the night, turn on the TV. When I was really young, up until my early 20s. No, mid 20s is when it stopped. But over time, even those time slots got taken up by, well, the old 900 numbers, which apparently started in the 70s. Now, the 900 numbers, oddly enough, got parodied in various animations, such as with Rocko's Modern Life. Rocko's trying to seek a new job and end up his neighbor Beverly Bighead end up calling, and Rocko's trying to do the whole 900 thing of "Oh baby, baby, baby," and then Bev and Rocko realize that they're on the other side of the phone before hanging up. I mean, for me, it's funny because I understand the joke, but for other people, it's like, okay, but even then, that's like a little bit of a chance there. But yeah, stuff like that exists, and even in Rick and Morty, this got parodied because Jerry would run up the line doing a 900 number for the whole fake best friend thing. And even outside of that, there was also other services, some stuff I found out about, thanks to people like Gaijin Goomba and Bennett the Sage, both who talked about like the whole loneliness thing. Bennett going deeper in with his video review of the anime Video Girl Eye. And it's funny because he was going to be cynical until like if you watch the nuts and bolts version of his review where they talk about like behind the scenes of what happened in Bennett's video, because Bennett was going to be very cynical and such, and yeah, there's a lot of criticism against Bennett, but that's beside the point. But with what Bennett said and what Gaijin Goomba said about so-called synthetic relationships, in which case people will get like there were actual videotapes that you could order and watch, and it's just someone of the opposite gender just basically being nice. And it wasn't always the whole sexual stuff either. It's just people smiling at you, people speaking nicely, such as like going back to Rick and Morty with Jerry running up the phone bills with this guy that he talks to who acts like a friend. And sad to say, people also tend to loop VTubers into this as well, which makes my appearance in this video all the more fitting. But no, I'm not one of those people who do boyfriend experience, but yeah, there are some in the VTuber space who do like boyfriend experience, girlfriend experience, and stuff like that. And even then, if not that, then the whole virtual character video thing. But I would admit, I've tried one of those once. Was very bored. Paid more attention to like the scenery and such than virtual character. And this was one of those 3D pre-recorded things, not interacting with an actual person. Because it's funny, you have like video versions of this and then stuff where you actually talk to people, and it's like I don't get it. I'll be honest, I don't get it, but that's because I'm not starved for communication. And I do think that this fits in the whole thing with cynicism as well, people are not communicating. And of course, with quarantine happening years ago, and the effects that solitude can have on the brain, negative effects, it becomes clear to me that some people just didn't recover from this. And worst of all are the people who are cynical, who fall for the 3 a.m. propaganda. And between people being hostile and cynical and others being lonely, it's definitely something that tears things apart. And no, changing social media is not going to do a thing because, like, at most, people can still buy magazines. Because there's magazines who, while, yeah, you're not interacting with someone, there's also people who, like, can at the very least pretend that they're responding to fan mail and stuff like that. And yeah, to any streamers who may be watching this, yeah, there are some people who, when they get fan mail, they pretend to care. And yeah, there are some streamers who did care, but just the same, there's also seem to be streamers that may not care. Also, my tech keeps acting up, so my apologies if you're seeing weird stutters and stuff like that. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. It's sort of a Windows thing why I keep getting glitches and such. But that's besides the point. The point is the video, which is that, yeah, there's this rise of cynicism and rise of loneliness, and they do go hand in hand. The cynical people, they would be good people if they didn't listen to the propaganda and view the other side as being terrible. Whether it's straight up prejudice or just something akin to prejudice, such as chauvinism, these wild ideas about, like, women are this, men are that. If someone's of this ethnicity, then they're like this, and if someone's of this religion, they are that. And it, it's all bullshit. Pardon my language, but it really is. And it's people also capitalizing on how we have this breakdown of communication. And this is something that I've even seen in the real world. It's hard not to pass by people and hear them talking loudly on the phone and arguing with people. And it's like, someone will say one thing and then another person will interpret it in a different way. And it just becomes very messy. And I do believe that a large part of this is, like I said, the propaganda. I would like to say there's a way of undoing the propaganda, but it does seem like a difficult task at hand. I don't know. But these are the thoughts that I do have and some random curiosities, and as well as observations. I do have 3 other videos, but this is basically a remake of one of them. I don't know if I said it in this recording. But yeah, this video along with 2 others I'm going to be uploading. And then I will get back to talking about music and such, given that I'm not having more technical difficulties. Seeing how I've been having random technical difficulties while doing this recording. So with all that said, I'm Neko AV, and I thank you for watching.